It was summertime on the island of Sodor. Bringing with it was an intense heat wave. This caused many stretches of track to have bends in the rails. It had seemed that this year, Edward's branch line was taken most effectively. Because of this, Edward the Blue Engine was to be taken to the works after he had derailed at a set of vent rails. He was most upset.
Do make sure you be careful, Boko,
Edward said to the diesel.
I don't want you to derail as well.
Don't worry, Edward.
Boko said calmly.
I will.
Edward smiled and Boko purred away. Later, Boko was pulling Edward's branch line train when he stopped at Wellsworth. The Fat Controller came to see him.
Hello, Boko. Edward's repairs are going to take much longer than expected, so I'm bringing in another engine to help out you and the twins with the heavy goods work. Since the rails are in need of repair, there'll be too much goods traffic for the twins to handle alone.
Yes, sir.
Boko replied.
But who will the engine be, sir?
Wait and see.
The next day, Boko was talking to Trevor when he heard a familiar horn.
Who's that?
Trevor asked. Boko sighed.
Derek.
He said as the green diesel oiled up.
Hello.
Derek said cheerfully, before noticing Boko. He looked down at his buffers abashedly.
Don't worry.
Boko said to Derek.
I'm not going to make fun of you. I've broken down too, don't you know?
Hearing this made Derek feel much better. After Boko finished his passenger run, he showed Derek what he needed to do, and before long, Derek understood everything he needed. The next day, Derek had stopped at Lower Sudrian for construction equipment to be loaded onto his vans. He was about to leave when Bill and Ben came past, reaching brutally at him. Derek frowned. He remembered when he had tried to help Bill and Ben, and he had broken down.
Don't worry, old boy. They'll get over it soon,
his driver said to him.
Or they never will.
Derek said sadly, and he oiled out of the station. Last night, it had rained heavily, which was a glad change in the excessive heat. However, the rain had damaged the fuses on the dynamite the workmen were using to take up the bent rails. But when the workmen saw that the dynamite was ruined, they left the dynamite in the sun to dry out, in hope of getting it working again. Derek was going past the construction area. The train was heavy and he was tired. He was just about to pull into the platform when suddenly, with a sputter and a growl and a roar, his engine started billowing smoke and sparks and he stopped, just a few yards from the station's ramp.
Oh dear.
Derek coughed.
Not again.
His driver stepped out to observe Derek's engine. While Derek's driver was checking his engine over, Derek watched as the workman walked back towards the dynamite. He also smelled something funny.
Driver,
Derek asked.
do you smell burning?
Derek's driver sniffed the air.
I do,
His driver exclaimed.
but it's not coming from you. I'm right next to you.
Derek looked all around. Then he noticed the dynamite. It was lit and the workmen were getting closer and closer to it. Derek was frantic.
Stop! Stop!
He called out, but it was no good. The workmen were too far away, and Derek's driver knew he couldn't get there fast enough to stop them in time, so Derek knew what he had to do. Derek honked his horn as loud as long as he could. The workmen stopped and looked towards him as the dynamite exploded into millions of pieces. Rocks flew all over the place, some even hitting Derek.
Ouch!
When the dust cleared, Derek prepared to see the worst. But when he opened his eyes, he heard cheering and whistling. Derek was confused. Derek's driver ran up.
Well done, Derek. You've saved the workmen.
Derek beamed from buffer to buffer. Derek had saved the workmen, and Derek had blown a fuse.